All right. Are we good to go? All right, let's get this started here. Thank you, everyone, for joining and for everyone online. My name is James Young. I am the CEO of Abridged. We just had a token launch for Collab.Land last Thursday. And we are forming a DAO under the Colorado Digital Co-op. So it's a US-based entity that is going to be governed by a DAO using the Colorado Co-op structure. And I'm going to talk about it today. This is a story that actually started last ETH Denver. So last ETH Denver, I talked about becoming a DAO. And when I said this last year, I really said this for myself because I wanted to make sure that I kept my feet to the fire and I would not come back to ETH Denver this year unless I did this launch. So it was me last year, I'm wearing the same shirt, keeping myself honest here. So really when I said that we're going to launch a DAO, I didn't really understand or know exactly what it was going to be. And this last year was really figuring out what Collab.Land is. And like doing some soul searching and looking inward, I really come to this like story thread of what Collab.Land is this story of the in-between. And this is what I would like to present today. So it all starts with me. I'm a child of immigrants. I live a very multicultural life. On the right side, it's me and my wife, Anjali. We had a Korean wedding. Here on the left side, we had an Indian wedding. Up there is my father-in-law, my brother-in-law, and these two are our adopted children here. So being in between Web 2 and Web 3, being a US-based entity, a digital co-op here in Colorado, and then being a DAO actually is very comfortable for me. And this is what I've learned. And I'll explain some more. So with the Collab.Land bot, just to give a little bit of kind of context here, the way I think about it is that we're the in-between of Web 2 and Web 3. So in a lot of ways, I think of it as like we're helping the immigrants of Web 2 get into Web 3. Just to give you some stats, we have and manage over 45,000 Web 3 native communities. We have 8.2 million wallet connections. And from a Web 2 perspective, that might not seem like a lot in terms of numbers, but in Web 3, we're probably the largest or one of the largest dApps in the world. And so we want to balance what we're doing in Web 2 with the ethos of Web 3. So privacy and consent is really important to us. We don't share user data at all. And when people sign up for Collab.Land, they don't expect that their wallet addresses and their like usernames on the Web 2 platforms like on Telegram and Discord will be shared. So we do not share any of that information. We are also the in-between when it comes to these different ecosystems that are shaping up. So we service majority of our communities, our NFT communities, but we do have a significant amount of DAO and DeFi communities. So we're also kind of this in-between, not only in Web 2 and Web 3, but also in the different ecosystems here. And really, when we talk about a DAO, it means a lot of different things to different people. And so what I wanted to do is kind of shift the narrative a little bit and really focus on the co-op, because the co-op is the in-between and what we see as a future of communities and corporations. So it's this balance between the two. I'll give you a few examples here. So in Web 3, privacy is in high regard. So you can become an anon and you can join the DAO, or you could KYC. So with being able to KYC, there are other benefits that we'll explain as the co-op formation continues on. And there are reasons why we chose the Colorado Co-op legal framework. We're working through those issues in real time, and we'll disclose that in the future. We're global, and so we want to also make sure that from a regulation perspective that Americans can actually join the DAO. We're a US-based entity, so that's important for us. You can hold tokens, and you don't even have to be part of the DAO. So we try to keep this balance in the in-between as we transition to Web 2 and Web 3. And finally, we use the Origami DAO framework because it is a Web 3-based framework with Web 2 sensibilities. But it's more than just talking about the Colorado Co-op itself and the legal structure. I think what I wanted to really impress upon in this talk today was no matter what you're doing and whatever you get out of this whole ETH hackathon, the ETH Denver hackathon, or just exploring DAOs in general, really thinking about, and for me, self-reflecting, is that it's always purpose over process. And it's really easy to get caught up in the process of setting up a legal entity or what voting structure you're going to use. And now that we have a few years under our belt when it comes to DAOs, we see a lot of thought leadership when it comes to how to set up a DAO, how to DAO, what to do and what not to do. But I think really it's being practical and being in the weeds here and exploring this from a practical example, because I think the danger of what we're doing and what we're seeing here in Web3 is like you get these thought leaders and it's equivalent to like, I don't know, a DAO MBA. So a lot of inner talk and talking amongst ourselves rather than real application. So, whether you do a Colorado Co-op or whatever legal structure, always, have to go back to the roots of like the purpose of it. And for me, and what I see in terms of this balance between community and a corporation, I actually went back and I actually tried to get mentorship from Jeff Bezos, because I look at him as someone that actually was able to take like from Web 1 and be able to create a successful company, Amazon, in Web 2. But Jeff is a little hard to get a hold of. So what I did was I was able to get mentored by Colin Breyer, who is chief of staff to Jeff Bezos. He was considered Jeff's shadow. And really talking with him and helping him understand DAOs and me understanding what organizations and corporations really mean is that, and this is what I took from it, is that leadership still really matters. And I know that that could be kind of a hot take when it comes to DAOs because it's community run and community driven. But for us at Collab.Land and with our co-op, we actually have to touch the real world. So they're like server cloud infrastructure, AWS bills to pay. And there are real like liabilities that we have to be accountable for. So for us at the application level, and it may be different for those that are building DAOs at the protocol level that you can get paid in ETH and you can remain anon. For us, we don't have that luxury to be able to do so. So for me, it was really just trying to understand like, okay, we have this useful utility. We invented the category of token gating with Collab.Land. We have competitors that are coming in and, do we want to compete? Me as the CEO of Abridged and knowing that we need to empower and we want to give back to the community, how do we do that in the most useful and practical way? And so with that, what we did was we had this token launch, and the token launch was really to help power the DAO, but really thinking about what does a DAO do? And so we came up with this concept, and we launched this yesterday. We launched this marketplace. So one, we want to be inclusive, and we want to keep incentives aligned. under what is, you know, legal and under regulation. And so the tokens in the DAO are this kind of stepping stone, and really what we're aiming for is this marketplace so that third-party developers can develop on top of Collab.Land. And this becomes really interesting because, you know, as you go through your journey, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're a part of a DAO, just reimagining kind of and understanding and be comfortable with this in-between. And so what naturally happened and what occurred and what was really just under our noses was that Collab.Land, because of our huge reach, because of our first mover advantage, we actually are the best distribution channel for Web3. So if you think about it, when it comes to a marketplace, which we just launched, we allow third-party devs to be able to build on top of Collab.Land. And if you think about how, as a developer, you are going to reach tokenized communities, you're not going to be able to buy Google AdWords. You're not going to buy Facebook ads. But if you wanted to kind of slide into a community's Discord, you can if you join the Collab.Land marketplace as a third-party developer. And that's extremely powerful. And what we wanted to make sure, though, is that when we launched this marketplace, it wasn't us as Collab.Land repeating the platform kind of story or playbook from Web 2. So this is why we have a DAO, and this is why we're so passionate about what we're building here, so that not only can we allow third-party devs to be able to enjoy this new distribution channel, but we can all share this together. So the way that it works is that if you're a dev, you can submit your app to the marketplace. And this marketplace is governed by the DAO. And now, if you create an app, those apps will add more features to Collab.Land. And with those features, we can attract more members. And when you have more members, you can actually, as a dev, put energy and time and trust into Collab.Land because you know that there's going to be people that are going to have an opportunity to use your product. A lot of devs, so let me finish this. So with devs, you have more features in the marketplace, that attracts more members, and those members attract more devs. And this is a flywheel that we're hoping we can kickstart, and value accrues to the token, and so everyone can share. So I know that a lot of devs in this hackathon are like just willing and wanting to put their best efforts and next great idea, but a lot of developers, and I have fallen prey to this myself, you have a great product, but you then have to market it. You have to distribute it. And I think this is what we're trying to solve in the Web3 ecosystem, is just instant distribution. So if you are a dev and you're hacking this weekend, you can hack on Collab.Land. We not only have bounties, but we also will provide the winner of the hackathon a mini app, a spot in our marketplace so that you can get distribution to the 45,000 plus communities that we serve. So again, what we're trying to build and the real aim here is we want to be the best Web3 distribution platform. And I am going to try and continue this story. So I started last year, and now we have the DAO, and hopefully we will be successful in the marketplace. And I just want to leave everyone with just a sprinkling of what I think is going to happen for next year. So for those devs that are interested, I think that the coming kind of age of NFTs, DAO, and DeFi will merge, and I think these separate ecosystems will come together. You see that happening right now with DAOs and DeFi. I think you see it less so in DAOs and NFTs, unless like you are into the NFT scene. You might see Nouns DAO, which is doing a good job. But I think overall, these will all converge. And I think the next cycle or the next iteration of this is going to be decentralized IDs. Why? Well, I think that, I don't know if you've seen the kind of progress that AI is making, not only with like ChatGPT, but like Stable Diffusion and Midjourney. It's going to be really hard in the future to really figure out what is real and what is AI generated. And so I think the kind of next cycle that we're going to explore is verification. And so this is where you need to verify the source material of, is this really real? Did Joe Rogan really have that podcast with Huberman? Or was that a deep fake or not? And I think you'll be able to verify that through decentralized IDs. So I think the coming age of like AI, so AI mixed in with DAOs, for example, if an AI can understand the different DAOs and on-chain voting systems, it may be that AIs are the new ambassadors that bring DAOs that are not knowing of each other, aligned in a way where they can work together and help better coordinate. AI will also bring in the emergence, I believe, of decentralized IDs to be able to verify if some claim has really happened or not. And I think that, we're finally, I know that the decentralized ID kind of movement is like 10 years in the making, but before it was really something that people knew should happen because of privacy and the ability to be able to have selective disclosure in terms of how you as an individual can own your own identity and represent it online, which was a good idea, but I think now in the coming age of AI, it will become more of a necessity. But that's my talk. Thank you. Please follow me on Twitter, and I have a minute and a half, but if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer any questions. All right, thank you.